Biology Part 148. The parathyroid hormones PTH is released by the parathyroid glands. Parathyroid hormone has three main effects. One, PTH causes an increase in the amount of calcium absorbed by the intestine. This is achieved indirectly by the hormone's action on vitamin D, which is chemically altered to its active form. The active form circulates the blood and is taken up by intestinal cells, which are stimulated to produce calcium carrier proteins responsible for absorption of calcium ions from the gut cavity. Number two, PTH acts directly to increase the number of activity osteoclasts. These cells break down the bone matrix and release calcium and ions blood. Number three, PTH increases the reabsorption of calcium ions by kidney rebukes so that less calcium is lost in the urine. These effects normally restore calcium to its correct level. A second hormone is called thyrocalcitonin. It is released if the blood calcium rises above its normal range. The thyrocalcitonin is produced by the thyroid glands and acts by suppressing the activity of osteoclast, allowing calcium and phosphate to be deposited into the skeleton. At the same time, less PTH is produced so that absorption from the intestine and the reabsorption by the kidneys are both reduced. Disorders of calcium metabolism can result from shortage of calcium and vitamin D in the diet. In children, vitamin D deficiency gives rise to the symptoms of rickets. The bones are soft because they are incompletely calcified. They are easily bent, producing serious abnormalities. In adults, dietary deficiencies, vitamin D and calcium sometimes causes a similar condition called an osteomalacia. This rare disease which most often affects women during pregnancy. When large amounts of calcium are absorbed by developing fetus and during the lactation the calcium is transferred to milk. Treatment of rickets and osteomalacia usually involves dietary supplements of vitamin D, calcium and phosphate. Additional exposure of the body to ultraviolet from the sunlight and artificial sources allows vitamin D to be manufactured in the skin. Locomotion in other vertebrates. Well, it is interesting to compare the specialization of human skeleton with those of the other vertebrates. All vertebrates share a common body plan and have the skeleton formed of the same basic parts, but there are many differences. Some of these can be related to the changes in habitat. For example, support and locomotion in water requires adaptation which differ from those needed on land. Similarly, the human skeleton is adapted for bipedal locomotion, while the most mammals are four-footed quadrupeds. While fish gain support from their surrounding and have a streamlined body shape. Most species are propelled forward by the waves of muscle contraction which pass along the body from anterior in the posterior, producing characteristics. S-bend motion. The body muscles are organized into separate muscle blocks which are the myotomes held together by the connective tissue. The number and arrangement of these subdivisions correspond to the arrangement of the vertebrates in vertebral column. Each myotome has its own spinal nerve and can be made to contract individually. The vertebral column is long and consisting of the incompressible skeletal elements made of the cartilage or bone.